The mysterious power of the demon brain, Yujiro Hanma and his unknown strength, Yujiro Hanma's full power, would Homelander get destroyed by the ogre, Baki vs Demon Slayer, Hanayama getting stronger, Kozawa's father, and much more. Welcome to Baki Hot Takes from the Discord. To begin, we have a lot of discussion about the demon brain, in particular these two. This dude claims that demon brain Baki would humiliate full power Masashi. There's quite a few issues with this. The first thing is Baki technically from what we've seen should always have the demon brain, and secondly we don't know exactly what it does. The series has not told us at all. And on that note, I've seen this image going around the fandom recently. Technically, this isn't from a manga directly associated with the Baki universe like most of the other side things, just a goofy comedy one, but it does have a reference to the demon brain in it and that whole scene we got to see in the manga, which as a reminder was in Baki Hanma Son of Ogre chapter 184. And one of the most interesting lines we got in this chapter when Dr. Kureha got pretty much the best brain surgeon or brain specialist in Japan to look at Baki's brain, he right away questioned if the owner of this would really be from the human race, saying the owner of this brain must be one real demon, which does connect to some theories about the Hanma family and how they may not exactly be human considering these ancient Egyptian images shown during the father-son fight. Also, when looking at other things, most notably the demon back associated with the Hanma blood, and even Yujiro's skeleton, which is akin to a monster, not really human-like at all. Therefore, perhaps we're going to get a demon arc in the future of the Baki world. That will definitely be something else. And now coming back to the hot takes, this dude says that Baki's demon brain is not a power-up, it's a result of training. I more so agree with this. My current theory that I've had for a while now is that the demon brain connects to Baki's imagination ability, the thing he's the best at using within the Bakiverse, how he was able to overcome and technically defeat his father by making Yujiro believe in his imagination. It also could be connected to Baki's endorphin activation he does throughout the series. Various possibilities, hopefully we get something revealed in the future of the story. Yuichiro Hanma is somewhere between rank 1 and rank 10. He could literally be anywhere with how little we know. Pretty much agree. The scene about him getting his jaw broken by Doppo could be the case, but based on how he was acting, it was probably more so joking around. At least if I had to place my bets, it would probably be more on that side. I hope we get to learn more about him, but if we're being fair, he does have one of the most impressive feats within the entire Bakiverse. Of course, surviving all these bombings on this small island, and actually almost forcing the USA to chuck a nuke at him alone, which is absolutely crazy. Tokigawa never ages. If we're being fair, we can say a similar thing about most Baki characters. Since the conclusion of the maximum tournament to current Baki, it's been less than 2 years. That includes Yujiro meeting all the new US presidents. Who knows what's going on with all that. Kaku Zhao Li would tank Sukune's ancient sumo. So with this, I would say it could be the case. My current view is that since the Yujiro vs Kaku fight, every relevant character has got a pretty insane amount stronger. So much so, you could say a lot of them are stronger than what Yujiro was back then. I'm not saying they're a match for current Yujiro. It's more so the argument that someone like Hanayama would be physically stronger than what Yujiro was when he faced the Chinese boy. But even with all of that said, if the ogre did use Zhao Li in his exchange with Sukune in this one moment here, you could argue Kaku Zhao Li would work the same way against Sukune's ancient sumo, meaning he could potentially win. So for now, I'll say this is a maybe. He could tank a few blows, but I wouldn't say that means he could win the fight as an example. And now in reference to my downplaying of Kaku, some could say, saying a similar thing about Masashi isn't really the same, as it would take like 20 years from now to be comparable, as a lot of people need to remember at what time Yujiro vs Kaku actually occurred when looking at the entire Baki timeline and all these years of chapters coming out. Also on that note, it's been 2 arcs since the Masashi arc, and even currently in Baki Rahen, we're getting mention of Masashi, story, showing his impact and his importance a little more than what we did for Kaku. For instance, after the Retsu tournament arc, we got a panel like this, which could be used to argue that characters like Doppo and Goki are at Kaku's level, even during the Ali Jr. arc, which is pretty crazy. While the Sumo arc had a moment where Yujiro punched Sukune, pretty much knocked him out, but he didn't fall headfirst into the ground, leading Tokugawa to be like, oh yes, even Masashi would respect this sumo boy. Not really the same thing when comparing it to how Kaku has been treated in the world. But still, again, as time goes on, characters will continue getting stronger. That's why it's a possibility that Jack could be above Masashi now, but who knows if we're being realistic. Baki outscales the Demon Slayer verse. I agree with this. A few years ago I made a Masashi Miyamoto vs Demon Slayer video. I pretty much agree with most points I've made in this video. There is pretty sound argumentation to say Baki characters, especially the high end, would absolutely beat up anyone in Demon Slayer. There's arguments for the other side as well, but I think it's not impossible to say that this is the case. If Dorian were to be brought back and got modern scaling, he would low to mid diff Sukune. It's just a terrible matchup. Imagine Sukune being lit on fire or getting his hands chopped off. That's low-key the case for a lot of matchups against Dorian. He is probably the dirtiest fighter in the Bakiverse. Who knows what he's going to pull out, and if he was comparable to the current standards of Baki characters in raw stats, with the use of all these tactics, he'll definitely be the ultimate menace. Yujiro is mountain to island level. This is based off the multiple times and his character profile, the author himself stating that Yujiro is stronger than nuclear weapons. Yes, this is the case. We have so many statements now of Yujiro being above nukes or above every weapon, which would of course would include nukes. If you were to take this as it said, you could get him into this range of power, potentially higher if you say it's every nuke that every country owns or something crazy like that, but officially no nuke has ever been dropped on a Baki character. The most we've gotten is this on Yuichiro Hanma, with pretty sound arguments that Yujiro is stronger than his father, putting him above anything like this, so crazy stuff. I'm fine agreeing with this level of scaling. Keiha is the interesting. Animated Masashi arc is going to be the best animated arc of Baki so far. I truly hope so. I wanted the same thing for the Baki vs Kengan anime film, a literal film, but again, very poor animation. Even the Baki vs Yujiro fight didn't get the justice I believe it deserved. There are key moments throughout all the Baki seasons that are pretty good, but the standard is not comparable to any other top level anime, especially considering how popular Baki is on big platforms like Netflix. You would think they would make it look better or put more effort in the animation. The same studio that's done all the recent anime seasons and the Baki vs Kengan crossover have confirmed that they're working on Baki Dao the Masashi arc, so hopefully they spend more time on it and give it some justice. Hanma vs Pickle being set up throughout the series pretty much. I would still love to see this fight. Recently in Baki Rahan we had Hanma pull up and stop the fight between Jack and Pickle as it was on his turf, setting up most likely Jack vs Hanma in the future, but also potentially Hanma vs Pickle that I think a lot of us would love to see, and may be a very close matchup currently in the story. Katsumi being weak, so I don't think this is the case, but I do think he definitely needs to perform more and actually do something. He's been built up an insane amount throughout the series, whether it be during the maximum tournament where he was hyped by Doppo quite a bit, then getting destroyed by Retsu. Didn't really do much during the prisoner arc apart from being clowned on and beating up Doyo a little bit, who's arguably the weakest prisoner. He got built up an insane amount more again for his Pickle fight, which he did quite well in but still got absolutely destroyed. Losing his arm, not doing anything for a little bit. Retsu died during the Masashi arc. He ended up getting Retsu's arm during the sumo arc, being the only one to lose against his sumo opponent, but to be fair, he was much stronger than him and didn't really want to kill his opponent, that's why he forfeited. That's what's explained in the story, and then got called out by Jack. But that's really all. He definitely needs to perform in his Jack fight or he's going to be clowned on, that's for sure. Next we have an interesting one, saying that Jack would have beat Spec during the prisoner arc. So I do believe this is the case, and I would even say Jack at the time of the start of the prisoner arc is the third strongest in the pretty much known main character universe. One being Yujiro, two being Oliva, and then third being Jack. After the maximum tournament, Baki had a little bit of a fall off until the point where he got that post nut amp, you could say, destroying Yanagi and Sikorsky, while Jack just got outright confirmed as stronger, got his height surgery, and definitely demonstrated his monstrous nature against Sikorsky. So if he was to fight Spec or any of the other prisoners during that arc, I would have bet on Jack. A little bit of a discussion about the Sukune vs Oliva rematch. I can agree with Sukune being at 70% due to his arm and still being injured from the Jack fight. Oliva, I would say, is pretty much 100%. We saw him being absolutely monstrous in that little training scene before pulling up on Sukune. We got no insight to him being nerfed in any way. And I would agree that regardless of pretty much Sukune being nerfed, how easy it was for Oliva was quite shocking, and even shocking for himself considering the way he knocked out Sukune. But is he above Jack? I can't really agree with that. I just think the circumstances and looking at the fight itself, Oliva could be viewed as performing better, but still looking at current Baki, which is Baki Rahen, I do think Jack is above Oliva. It was sus stuff, that's for sure, and yeah, I guess Baki was lucky but not lucky, who knows. Pickle has the greatest lifting strength in the verse, that is true with him lifting the various dinosaurs. Sukune's strongest hand grip, feet wise, considering if he was able to do this that would be the case, and Yujiro the strongest punch. Yeah, I agree with all this. For Retsu, yes, the longer it's been since his last appearance, the more outdated he's going to continue to be, and will eventually drop out of the top 10 if he hasn't already. But Isekai Retsu is definitely a monster and probably does beat Pickle, I'm not gonna lie. If you still haven't checked out this Baki side manga, highly recommend it. So the whole discussion about Hanma getting stronger or not getting stronger is debatable. There's some issues with the translations during the Musashi arc when it comes to stating that he did train, or Yujiro stating that Hanma does train in secret. But one thing that is outright confirmed is that he's similar to Yujiro in the way that he's a built different character, meaning it's possible that he just naturally gets stronger by existing, not needing to train. And if he has better feats deeper in the story, that is pretty much the evidence of that. So him getting stronger is probably going to happen, and I hope he demonstrates this during the Jack arc. Oliva vs Hanma could really go either way currently. I would also place my bets more so on Oliva, but I did a big video breaking down this matchup with everything we currently know. If we were to get a part 2 of the Kengan vs Baki crossover film, which is a possibility as broken down in this video, Julius vs Oliva will go absolutely hard. Itagaki knows what Baki is about. There you go, boys, we could have the biggest hot take of today's video, and he might be right. Oliva is the richest fighter in Baki if you don't believe Yujiro owns the world. You could make an argument that it is the case. You could also make a pretty interesting argument about Kaku and his influence in China and potentially the world as well. There are a few other characters that come to mind, but Oliva is definitely up there. Gaia and Sikorsky 10 out of 10 romance. Again, if you guys don't know, there's a side manga that features a comedy or slice of life focused series between these two characters, which is crazy, but yes, it's real. Jack's gonna mid-diff Pickle. Based on the initial performance before they head to the underground arena, this could very well be the case, and Jack is looking good. I think it's pretty common and agreeable to say that the prisoner arc is amongst the best when it comes to Baki, and easily top 5 for most people. Kozue's father is close to Dopporochi in strength, so I don't particularly agree with this, but if you guys don't know, Kozue's father actually appears in this side manga, who, spoilers, has a clash with Yanagi that may or may not result in his death. We don't know the exact circumstances of this fight, but with that said, it's likely the case that current Dopporochi is quite a bit stronger than Kozue's father was. Tokigawa being annoying is kinda the case case at some point throughout Baki, but as a reminder, he's pretty much the ultimate goon, the ultimate instigator throughout the Baki world, giving us pretty much these random pog reactions at various points, enjoying the fights as much as we are. But yes, I could see how people find him annoying at times, but still, he's goated in many other ways. Yujiro beating Homelander. So I'm making my way through season 3 of The Boys, and based on what I've seen from Homelander so far, there is probably pretty good arguments to say Yujiro does absolutely destroy him, but I haven't exactly looked into how strong Homelander is. Do you guys want that? Let me know down below. I could make that a future video. Of course, before ending today's video, shout out to the members, the Mad Lads. These guys can vote on videos, they have done, so shout out to these guys. Big videos are in the works. Shout out to the official partner of the channel. But that's it guys, peace.